When you hear the word sports, what comes to your mind? You would think health, exercising, going to the gym, following your favorite team, and tournaments, championship. I'm one of those people who's really passionate about sports. I started running at the age of 9 months. So you can imagine how integral sports is in my life, and it shaped me into who I am today. I grew up in Ramallah, Palestine, and back in the 90s, I took part of every single sports activity that came my way, supported by my parents and family. I took part in karate. I also took part in horseback riding. I also was a swimmer, one of the few female swimmers in Palestine. I crossed Tiberias Lake 6 times for 6 consecutive years. Each time it was 5 kilometers. I gained many championships and tournaments and titles, but what I gained from all of that was the persistence, was not giving up. When I was in the middle of the lake and seeing the other end, it was just not giving up. It was about resilience. It was about hard work. It was about putting mind strength over body exhaustion. It was about teamwork and putting my friends through this difficult times. I also was part of basketball team in Palestine. I made it to the national team of Palestine and represented Palestine in different Arab and local tournaments. I was one of the people who put Palestine on the map of sports. Through basketball, I learned a lot. And what I learned on the court, I wanted to take back with me in the day-to-day life. I grew my network of people through basketball and through the different tournaments that I took part in. I had another family, my sports family. So when I moved to Jordan for my studies in 2000, I started my studies in IT. But you made sure, and I made sure, to find my friends from the different basketball tournaments that I have connected with through the years back in Palestine. And I made it to be the first Palestinian to represent the Jordanian national team. I took part in different Arab tournaments in Lebanon and Syria and all over the place. My network grew, but also not only my titles grew, but my life skills grew. I became more confident. I became a stronger personality. And I also gained persistence and planning and time management because I was pursuing my IT degree and then my MBA while working full-time and working and training hard to stay on the national team of Jordan. I then took all that back when I finished and completed my journey in Jordan. I came back to Palestine with more things that I wanted to give back to the community. All the years that I have completed and the experience and the network that I have gained in Jordan and all around the Arab world, I wanted to take it back to Palestine. Sports is my passion, and along to my full-time IT career, I started volunteering. I started coaching young kids, young girls, and young boys, which was not really a thing for a young female coach to coach young boys, but I did it anyhow. I used my IT skills and I built the first Palestinian basketball website and did a statistics system to follow the men's league. I put the Palestinian basketball on the map of basketball worldwide. People started to follow Palestinian basketball through the websites that I have created and through the links that I have created. I started writing articles that people started to follow from all over the world about basketball, asking, where is Palestine? Can we come and play in the league as internationals? I managed to bring over 20 foreigners to play for the Palestinian leagues, and also over 5 or more coaches who wanted to support the Palestinian league and bring Palestine basketball on a higher level. I then was chosen to represent Palestine as the under-14 coach in FIBA, parallel to the FIBA World Cup in 2010, in the Children of the World camp. I was the first female to represent Palestine in such an event, and I had 2 of the kids that I was coaching with me. We represented Palestine amongst 120 countries. And here, again, we learned a lot about not only basketball as technique, but basketball was the language that brought us together. It was about the exchange of the different values and culture that we were able to give. There, I have grown my network again, and I was always thinking about how can I benefit Palestine when I come back from such experiences, and also then support the Palestinian youth, and give them the chance that I took and give it back to Palestine. After that, I came back home, and I had this opportunity for an IT consultancy in Germany. So I went to Germany for around 6 months, but knowing me, you know I'll go and find another German team to play with. So I was the first professional Palestinian basketball player, and played in the German season. And that brought, again, highlights. Who is that name that is coming up in the statistical system of the German league? It's a new name. And coming back at me, they started reporting, okay, she's coming here to do an IT work, but she's a really good basketball player. I grew my network, I grew my skills, even developed my planning skills even further, and the time management and the perseverance. And all of that didn't come just from me from learning books, but rather the skills that I have learned inside the court, on decision making, on when to make a pass. And this is something that I have learned and translated to my day-to-day life. I came back with a bigger dream. I started my first local NGO, the only and still only local sports for development organization in Palestine, focused on sports for development. And it grew to become globally recognized in several different networks in sports for development. Sports for Life, I have designed it to be in a way to serve the social needs of the different communities in Palestine. How to use sports as a tool to tackle the different social issues. Not just as a technique, because sports is a language and you can deliver the different messages through sports. So the programs that I have aligned and designed and modeled are also aligned to the SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals. How can we affect health and education and gender equality, empower different youth, and also create job opportunities, and also make and provide an inclusive environment for all the kids and everywhere in Palestine, with the different communities having a very fragmented Palestine. I brought my network back from Europe and also from the Arab world. I gave the chance and fundraised for over 20 coaches who represent different parts of Palestine to take part in an international basketball course in Jordan, but also to come back and give back to their communities. So we provided this ripple effect to empower different coaches so that they can empower the different communities. I also was able to fundraise for over 12 kids from the kids that I was coaching to take part in an international basketball camp in Turkey. I was also the first Palestinian coach to be in that camp. It was an amazing experience for those kids to be able to represent Palestine and also to share their experiences and their values, but also to learn from others. It impacted them not only on a basketball level, but rather on a whole personality level. Starting that day, I have organized every year for exchanges from Palestinians who did not have the chance to leave Palestine, to create that chance and opportunity for them. But I also cannot take all Palestine outside of Palestine for them to take that experience. So another aspect is that I brought people and the network that I have created in Europe and Arab world and the States to come back and give to Palestine. I created a mini basketball a program where we can develop the life skills of the kids, but also then give them the opportunity to go and play in a mini basketball tournament in Italy. Not only that, but also be hosted by Italian families who became as one. For those kids, for them to get the chance to learn Italian experiences and values and cultures and other cultures, because all over the world people came to take part on this tournament. It wasn't just mini basketball, it was a cultural event. They made friends for a lifetime. This picture is 10 years ago, and 10 years ago they are still friends and connected. Sports. Thank you. Thank you. I also was pregnant at that time when I was coaching the first time. I always had my girl with me in my stomach and in my tummy and on my back. She was always there. She was coaching with me, and she was the youngest player on the team, and she's with us today. I started community programs because I feel the need for sports to be an integral part of every single child. Every child has the right to play, and every child has the right to have the safe space to play. As we look at Palestine, and we know how this is not always available in every single part of Palestine. So in cooperation with the Ministry of Education and with UNRWA, we were able to find different safe spaces for kids to play, but at the same time building the capacity for young coaches to have that opportunity to come out and volunteer and give back to the community, and also a job opportunity in the future. For them to learn the technique of using sports for development, not just teaching a technique, but rather develop their life skills. Give them the opportunity to be themselves and play. Give them the opportunity to integrate with different gender and also play football or any game that they love. Sports is not an expensive game. If we just have any safe space and with the ball, we can make a whole difference for those children. It's a stress relief for them, but also a nice way for them to play and learn different messages through sports. One of the community programs that I'm always proud of is one that we have initiated around 6 years ago in Tulkarem. In Tulkarem, there are different environments and communities in it. We have different refugee camps within Tulkarem. We have the villages and the city. With the Ministry of Education, we opened one of the schools 6 years ago, which is running till today. We started with 2 girls, and now we have over 100 girls coming to play football from the different refugee camps, the cities, and the villages, providing an inclusive environment for them to come and play football, to come and feel themselves, to come and have fun. We're also providing different young coaches, female coaches, who are passionate about football, and giving them the experience on how to use football to translate different life messages, such as decision-making, such as perseverance, such as planning, but more than that, how to deliver health messages, gender equality, and providing them with an inclusive environment that we are all one in this field. We are all playing the game that we love. At the end of every single practice, and that's the really change from just playing sports, a normal practice, or we're just going for a sports for development session and a football line life skills. Every single exercise and session, we have a certain message that we want to deliver. We connect that life skill to their day-to-day life, and we provide them with a reflection cycle at the end of each practice. We don't see the impact directly, but we see the impact on the long run. I'll give you one example of one young girl who is really passionate about football, and she joined our program in Tulkarem, which is a community program free for everyone to come and join. She said that it was her first time to communicate with other young boys and show them that you can play football. Not only that she felt comfortable expressing her opinion after a while of being only shy and not only able to speak her mind off, but also she took it further, and how she planned to always score her goal in the game. She learned how to take the opportunities back in her day-to-day life and see where her objectives are and going towards goal targeting, not on the field only, but translating that into her day-to-day life. All of the kids have this passion to speak their mind off, to express their opinion. Youth in our Palestine need to have that space and everywhere to express their opinion, to say their thoughts, to say their issues, to tackle them, to talk about them, and us as coaches to really mentor them and guide them towards their future. As one of the consultants or expert in sports for development, I was invited several times to take part in different international sports for development courses. So I was one of 2 Palestinians who joined this international course that had over 20 countries. Again, expanding my network, but also sharing the experiences that I have built in Palestine. I also pursued my postgraduate degree in sports management in London, and bringing that experience to be able to manage further the organization. I then, supported by my family and my loving husband, who pushed me to go for my PhD and told me, you are really passionate and you're doing a change in the country. Take this further, let's explore and research more into youth employment and sports for development and using sports as a tool. So with my family, I'm pursuing my PhD, who are my backbone and my parents and family as well. I represented Palestine as the only and first academic in the German sports university in Cologne, always taking Palestine with me as an example and always putting Palestine on the map of sports and also as Palestinian. I came back again to Palestine with more knowledge and with more information and with more experience that I want to expand and extend the ripple effect. I took the knowledge and started giving training of trainers, meaning empowering others to be able to also do what I'm doing. I have empowered over thousands of trainers and social workers across Palestine who are also delivering different sports for development training. And we are slowly integrating the sports for development approach within the educational system so that when the teacher or the social worker has a tool to really relay any message to the kids through something that they would understand. If you give a ball to any kid or any person of any age, you will directly see a smile because that makes them happy. And with that, you can deliver different messages that you cannot or are unable to deliver them smoothly through a presentation. I have also done different TOTs across Palestine and also then in the region. We have created and I have designed different models on how can we use sports as a tool to tackle different social issues, and as I mentioned before, aligned to the SDGs. One of them is gender equality. How can we speak about gender equality and rights through sports is much easier when they have that chance to experience in a game what it means to have equality and equity. By providing young girls and young boys the chance to integrate and also the chance to express each other's opinions to each other at that age, for them to learn from each other and for them to know about each other's experiences. A young boy won't have the same experience as a young girl if she wants to or wishes to play football or just play sports or any sports. In these reflection cycles, we have the chance to let them talk to each other and come up with solutions that they can come through the years to make a change. They are the youth who represent 1/3 of Palestine who are able to make a change. I've also designed one of the programs on how to use sports for employability. Through that camp, that was a summer camp, we taught kids about leadership. And this is something that one can gain through sports. Being on a team, you learn teamwork, and you learn how to lead others. And this is something that you also need in your day-to-day life. But also, if you show them things through sports on how vocational education is an important aspect, and change the negative perspective towards vocational education, that it is also an important work and also important pathway that people are passionate about. We let them try hands-on. And this young boy who found his passion in that camp at 10th grade decided to go into IT track once he had the chance to see the wires and see inside the computer. He changed his whole life because he was a part of this camp. He received a scholarship after he finished Tawjihi and left to study IT. Young girls also got the chance to see their perspective and see other chances in IT, in graphic design, and other professions. We've also designed and created and managed a whole team. Everyone that was part of the program, like the people that I have empowered, they took this and took it back to their communities to teach. I'm managing and designing a whole team who is spread around Palestine and in the region to deliver the passion and the messages that I want through sports. Sports is an important tool for education, and we can do a lot with that for career guidance. Sports is also important for our health and well-being, giving the space for young girls to play. In end effect, I was, as a Palestinian, called out as an international speaker at several different workshops across Europe and also in the Arab world to share our designs and models that were really successful in the sports for development field. I also co-created and co-wrote a curriculum that is being used in the Ministry of Education in Jordan and Northern Iraq. I want to take that and make a ripple effect, not only in Palestine, but in the region, because I was able to be called upon as well during COVID to share all of these models and experiences, because together we can. Together we can use sports as a tool, as a voice, as a change. Let's expand that ripple effect together, and let's build stronger and confident generations and communities. They need us. Let's give them, the youth, the space. Let's give them the voices for them to make the choices. Because when we empower the youth, we empower communities.